Entertainment news today. You're such a dragon gay. Everything sucks and it's no good. That comes out of Hollywood. But there's one place you can go to get all your news and info, and maybe even have a laugh or two. You know it's true. Midnight Edge after dark is life. We're stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight Edge after dark. All those bombs and flops, but MEAD never stops. We will keep going through the night as we keep up the culture fight. Midnight Edge after dark is life. We stand for nerds and geeks, we will survive. From Star Wars to Jurassic Park, it's Midnight Edge after dark.
I knew something was wrong. My audio is not hooked up correctly. I'm like asking these guys if I sound okay, but they're like, yeah, you sound fine, Tom.
You did sound fine.
But I can't hit my...
That's good.
God damn it. God damn it. Right off the bat, shit's all fucked up. Can't even get my noises to work. What the fuck is up with this?
I don't
Nothing. Here we go. Greetings, everybody. What a way to start a Tuesday. The canned cheering is not working tonight. We finally got it working. Hopefully everybody can hear me just fine. Greetings, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever it is, what time you is. Welcome. Welcome. We should have some other gentlemen joining us, I'm sure, before too long. Like Price of Reason right here. We were waiting for you.
You just sent the link like a second ago.
No, he didn't.
No.
We've been here for like 20
Like
minutes.
10 minutes ago. We were there.
No.
These boys even
wait.
did their homework and everything. I said, go watch the trailers since you got time.
I see. Sorry. I didn't see it for some reason. I just suddenly looked at it now.
Yeah, sometimes you got to hit refresh. But a good afternoon. How you doing, Price?
Good. What's up?
Not much. We're going to talk about some trailers. We're going to talk about Elio and whatever else comes up. We have Nick with us as well. How you doing, Nick?
Hey, Tom. I'm doing good. So I got a question for you. Who would win an arm wrestling match between Lemmy and God?
Lemmy.
Hold on. What? With a poser?
Wrong answer. Trick question. Lemmy is God. Get this poser out of here. How dare you try to bring a cop in here? That's right, Nick. We're going to watch talk Airheads tonight. That's right. He ain't farting on no snare drum.
And one of my favorite White Zombie songs is in that movie. And I got
They actually used the video. I think they shot the video during the film. If you watch.
Well, I actually have a fun fact about that, which I'm going to save for the movie. I bet you don't even know about it. It has
I might not.
White Zombie. So, and consider you have like 999,000 things to know. I think I have this one so should be good. But yeah, happy to be here. Trailer came out. We watched them. We had thoughts on them, and Price of Reason's here too.
Indeed, he is. And we also have the Bone Man, as you called him, Mo Zamboni.
Hey.
How you doing?
Doing well. Well, I mean, maybe not after watching one of those trailers. I'll let you know later. But
we're going to get into that. Yes, indeed.
But yeah, doing well. Glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, and it's glad to see so many of you regulars out there in the chat. Looks like they finally got their shit fixed, because we got D-Bud here swinging a wrench. We got T-Bone. We got Many Dragons. Dr. Manzer's here. Tornado's here. Penny's in the house. Patrick Robinson's here. We got Goddess of Whim sending in a super chat already saying, saw that Running Man trailer. I was sold with Edgar Wright. Looks fun. Well, we're going to talk about that. We'll see if everybody else feels the same or a little bit different. And Goddess of Whim also sends in some support and love for Clobbering Times. Thank you for that. Yes, we've been thinking about him a lot because, yes, this is it was about a year ago this time we lost him. So it's tough to think about, but moving on without him is what it's all about. And I'm sure he would have wanted us to keep talking shit, especially about things like Fantastic Four. Because I don't think he would have been happy.
Especially with them, with the Clobbering Times line.
Yeah.
Oh,
it almost feels like it's a poke. See, that maybe that's why Nick and a few of the rest of us really kind of took to that, kind of like, fuck you guys.
Great.
We kind of took it personally, I think. I could be wrong, but at least that's the way I felt. But we also have Phoenix Knight in the house. We got Brian Barth. Lombardi's here. Welcome, guys. Hit that like button. Deeple 101 is here as well. So many regulars. I love it. Shadow Chaser. Hit the like button. Share out the link. Let everybody know we're live. We even got Culture Casino. Why is he out in the chat instead of up here on the panel? I do not know. So yeah. And then we got Action Com saying, I saw the latest Running Man trailer and it looks like another freaking remake. When are we going to get new ideas? Yeah, I know. That's one thing that's got going against it anyway. So I guess we'll start there since that's what everybody's really talking about right now. So this is an oddball. I don't know. I guess you could call it a remake. It's more of a readaptation is my understanding from the looks of it. And some people are even saying it might be a quasi sequel. We'll get into that in just a little bit too. But before we get too deep into it, let's get everybody's initial thoughts on the Running Man trailer. That's right. Glenn Powell is taking over the lead role. And it looks quite different from the Schwarzenegger version. And then Patrick Robinson says with $4.99, everyone that is complaining about Running Man remake trailer never read the novel. And you know what, Patrick? That's fair on both ends, right? It's fair that some people wouldn't be familiar with the novel because, hey, the movie's infinitely more popular, right? Like, and you can't blame the general audience for that. At the same time, yeah, you're not wrong. Fans of the novel or Stephen King fans might get more out of this, and this is not like it's the first Stephen King readaptation or remake out there. So let's start with you, Mo. What did you feel about Glenn Powell in Running Man trailer?
Well, first off, I gotta say, I like how they went with looks like every townie from the Midwest ever when he wears the Carhartts over the hooded sweatshirt. But other than that, I kind of liked some of the things in it, but I don't know, man. You're not going to beat Richard Dawson as the game show host, and I'm not sold on the guy doing it. But I kind of like what they're doing with it, and it's Edgar Wright, so I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt to see what happens. But I'm erring on the side of optimism to see how this turns out. I still have a place in my heart for the original, especially with all the one-liners, but I do like what I saw overall.
I'll be back only in reruns. Nick, what did you think of the Running Man trailer?
It was not a bad trailer. I mean, obviously, outside of the obvious remake symptoms that seem to be par for the course, Glenn Powell has exactly what it takes to be a great lead for movies. He's definitely got the cool name, the look. He's definitely got some machismo to him too. I've never read the book, so I have nothing else to base this off of other than the Arnold movie. So it looks like it's going to be similar but different, which I guess is not a bad thing. I'm still kind of weird about remaking those movies. But if this were its own original thing and you were just to say, well, it's just a movie that was really influenced by The Running Man. Like, oh, okay, cool. So overall, look decent. I might I might see this one. I'm definitely curious. I will admit to that, even though I'm really not all about remaking this, because I don't need another remake for something that I don't want. But if this gives Glenn Powell leeway into getting some originals where he can be his own man and have his own franchises, well, let's see if this ends up being a blessing in disguise. So I'm cautiously optimistic.
All right, Price, what do you got?
Well, I think that I kind of agree with Nick's sentiments here that it doesn't look necessarily bad, but I don't know that I want to see another remake. It's like, can't you just do something that I haven't seen before? I understand it's a different interpretation, and like Nick said, I never actually read the original book, so maybe if I was a fan of the book, this would get me excited, but honestly, it's a movie that I didn't really feel like I needed. I'll still give it a chance because I seem to be the target audience for it, so I'll definitely go see it. But I really would like to see Glenn Powell get some more original stuff.
Yeah, I don't dislike Glenn Powell. I'm actually not somebody who's against readaptations or remakes. But this trailer didn't really sell me.
No, and also, listen, we over the past maybe 7, 8 years, how many remakes have we gotten? It's like so rare that they just sit and they're like, hey, let's do something that somebody hasn't done before. And I really want to see that. It's just like, automatically when I hear it's something that's already been done, I kind of roll my eyes. Yeah, the trailer just looked all right. I don't know.
It might be better than we think it will be, but I'm not somebody who's very familiar with the book. I do know of it. I know it's a Richard Bachman story, and so on. I feel like maybe if it was Jason Statham or somebody like that, like maybe, but even then, I'm still not completely sold. Because there's just some movies that feel like they shouldn't really be messed with. And I'm not saying The Running Man is a masterpiece by any means, but like you don't see a ton of Clint Eastwood or John Wayne movies getting remade all the time. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So yeah, it kind of feels the same way here. It's like, yeah, this is Arnold's movie. Why are you messing around with it? Like, I get it. You might want to do another one, but you had Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger in the first one. You know what I mean? This is like somebody trying to remake John Wayne. Like the closest I think of it came even remotely, like with these remakes, was maybe Magnificent Seven, but that's because you had like Denzel Washington and Chris Pratt taking over for the Steve McQueen and the Yul Brynner roles. And that feels like, okay, now you kind of got some pedigree here that feels up to snuff with what you had before. And I'm not saying Glenn Powell's not good. He just ain't Schwarzenegger, man. Like, not yet.
No. Also, the thing is that historically, any movie that they tried to remake that was originally starring Schwarzenegger usually fails. Total Recall, I think they tried that with Colin Farrell or something, and that was a disaster. What else did they do? I thought there was something else that they tried to do. I don't remember now. In any case,
with Christian Bale without Arnold, and that
which
failed.
One?
Terminator Salvation without Arnold, and that failed.
And Christian
and then
Bale
when Arnold came back, and it failed even harder.
Right. I mean, Christian Bale is a good actor. It's not completely his fault. That movie, actually, out of the different movies that are not Terminator 1 and 2, it's the only one I can semi-tolerate, the one with Christian Bale, but even that one isn't very good. And yeah, it's kind of his movies. When you think of these type of movies that are Schwarzenegger movies, you think of him, and it just feels unnecessary. Just do an action movie with Glenn Powell. Make it even a generic action movie. Just let him go around and do cool actiony stuff and be kind of charismatic and kick people's ass.
Right.
And maybe if there's some ladies there, then he, manages to impress them a bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really easy. You have everything to work with there. He can do the one-liners. He can do some fun stuff. He could do the action. It's kind of like what they were trying to do with Ryan Gosling and couldn't do it. Glenn Powell can actually do that.
And I see Goddess of Women is upset. I'm not trying to be a wet blanket. Like I said, it might be decent. I just to me, it's just one of those things that I'm just not sure you should mess with too much because of Schwarzenegger. I
Well,
mean, even the It remake was like an anomaly to me. But what were you saying?
here's the problem with all of them. The connecting line. You're taking a
Mhm.
campy movie classic and you're trying to take the camp out of it, and I think that's
Yeah,
where I think that where it always fails.
you might be right. That might have been the formula of why the original worked. Because it's not like, look, it's not like Running Man is that original of a concept. In fact, we've had a million movies with so many similar concepts. That's where I'm kind of sitting from going, why don't you just come up with another one of those, like a similar concept for him? Because we've seen a lot of movies in the last couple months to a year here with some of these guys, like I'm thinking of like Novocaine and some of these other ones that are very similar to other films that we've had, even Jason Statham movies like Beekeeper and whatnot and Working Man, very similar to classic films, but they're not. They're newer things, and that's the way Hollywood used to work. Yeah, we'd get another one of those Death Wish type movies or a Lethal Weapon type movie or insert your type of movie here, but we weren't always getting a remake of those. And again, I'm not trying to be a wet blanket for people like Goddess who are looking forward to it, because there is a chance this might actually be a sequel of sorts. So if you watched and paid attention really closely in the trailer, Arnold Schwarzenegger has a cameo.
I saw that President Schwarzenegger on the bill.
So we have President Arnold on the bills. Yeah. So I don't know if he's still the same character as he is in the original, if it's a little wink, wink, nod, nod, nudge, nudge thing. So it could be a quasi sequel to the original if this is the case, if this is the same character.
If that were the case, that would be, I guess you could say, preferable. Granted, we still wouldn't need it overall, but I'm really hoping that this could break out in the way that once again it does something to really launch Glenn as a leading man, because we've seen him do well in supporting roles for Top Gun Maverick, Twisters. I just thought of Airheads for sure, because Rangers, Twisters. Great, I got Airheads stuck in my head. Yeah, but no, I think he's definitely got the chops. He just needs something to really get him through the cracks, and hopefully this will do that. Even if I somehow end up not liking it, and it seems like for those who are supposedly into the book, this seems to be more in line with that. I'll put it this way: if I were a book fan, maybe I'd feel the same way, and that's good. Once again, I don't even hate the trailer. I didn't dislike it. I actually thought it was better than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was a decent trailer, and hopefully, it did. Hopefully, it does well. I just hope that it does well. I do want to get originals out of this. I know people have mentioned a few originals that have not done well, but there's also originals that have done well. Sinners is doing great. Would F1 count as original? I don't know. I guess that would be
yeah.
That seems to be doing well too. So I guess there is originals that are doing well, of course, doing not so well, but hopefully the ones that are good, we get more of them. But yeah, Running Man, we'll see what happens. We will see. That's for sure.
All right. Anybody else got anything to say about Running Man before we grab some more super chats and move on to the next trailer?
Real quick, regarding this is, it's a remake, or it's more based off the book. If you've ever seen The Shining, the TV series, Stephen King does not translate directly to entertainment very well. It has to be adapted pretty heavily.
Yeah, the Shining movie is a much better movie than the book ever was, and that's why I think Stephen hated it.
Oh, for sure. But yeah, I'm like saying that that might actually be a selling point, that it's not closely related to the book. So that's all I'm
I'll be the first
one
to say. I'll be the first one to either agree with you or say that, yeah, Stephen King is a meandering mess most of the time. He's got really good shit, but you got to clear away all the other garbage to get to that shit. So like some things like It and stuff like that are kind of actually easier to adapt, because you know the shit you get rid of. Right? It's real easy. You just look at it and go, well, we get rid of all this ancillary shit that has nothing to do with the kids. Get rid of this orgy scene. And, the only thing they keep getting rid of that I think the fans are upset about is Turtle. That's the only thing I think fans get upset about that they keep getting rid of. Otherwise, like Misery and some of the other, they've known exactly what you need to keep in the stories to make them good. And that's why a lot of times his initial adaptations of his movies are sometimes better than the book. I'd say Pet Sematary might be another one of those. Silver Bullet might be. It's been a while since I've read the book. But I mean, a lot of them are just much more entertaining the books, because the books, a lot of times he goes through this, just a lot of passages of bullshit and other ancillary characters that have nothing to really do with the grand story and stuff like that. Or just self-indulgent bullshit. Like, yeah. Anyway, speaking of self-indulgent bullshit, let's move on to the next trailer.
Oh, no, I thought the culture just said is going to be here.
Well, culture, if he's here, he can come on in. Says Action Cop says, oh, did we get this one already? But yeah, we did get this one. We got this one. This one's where we left off. Wild Man of Yavin says, Happy Bobby Bonilla Day. Who's Bobby Bonilla?
Bobby Bonilla, one of the
Bobby
killer
Bonilla.
bees.
That's a Puerto Rican last name. I would know because I am Puerto Rican. That last name.
You're Puerto Rican?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I'm like super racist. See you.
You should see me at the time. People wonder if I'm family or if I'm a guest. I don't even care what they consider me. I just want the Puerto Rican rice.
And then Goddess Swim says, Running Man and The Long Walk are basically the same stories written by King, and both getting adaptations this year. Which one will do better? Yeah, I was going to say, I was just about to say Long Walk is getting into adaptation. I don't know. I know that's one that's been sitting kind of like for a while, and they've been wanting to do it, but they just never have. Sometimes those work out, sometimes they don't. It has a better chance than Running Man, depending on who's in the cast. If it starred Culture Casino, it might do okay, I guess. Yes. Cool. And hello, Culture. What are you doing?
Hey, I'm only here for a couple minutes, mainly because of that last comment from Nick. But I'm looking forward to Running Man. I didn't think the trailer was bad. A readaptation would probably be the right way to describe it. And I have to tell you, I think it looked pretty good. It's going to be kind of quirky, a little funny, and I'm looking forward to the one-liners. I think Glenn Powell is underutilized and was an undiscovered talent for a long period of time, and he's going to add something special to the character. What else were you guys talking about?
We've only gotten into the trailer. I just want to say something that would get you in here, and it worked.
It did work. Yeah,
yes.
It did work. It's great to see you.
I don't actually feel that way.
Yeah,
I just wanted to get your attention.
Yeah, I didn't think so, Nick. Yeah, no. And it's great to see Mo Zamboni and Price. Been supporting Price since Price started, so it's great to see him going crazy. And Tom, it's nice to see you not in the morning. So, yeah, because I'm not usually racing to a doctor somewhere. So
I'm not.
You guys have the lights off on each other?
Well, my lights are off, but that's because my camera's not on, and I really am. I'm editing. I'm in full editor mode right now because, I'm having fun.
Well, try to stick around as long as you can, because after Cat in the Hat, we're going to talk.
Oh gosh,
about,
no! Oh, did you see that?
Now he's leaving.
This thing is awful. This is a nightmare fuel.
Before we get into that, the Wild Man of Yavin says Bonnie Bonilla is collecting $1.2 million until 2035 because of his contract, July 1st. Also, hail Culture Casino.
Yeah, and I love the Wild Man of Yavin with that baseball trivia. Most people don't know that Bobby Bonilla was one of the killer bees. Dude could smash balls.
Yeah,
for the Mets.
Bonds. Yep.
I have his rookie card. So baseball card. I used to collect baseball cards like a freak show. So I mean, comics.
White Sox games when they actually had a baseball team. Not that the Mets ever had one, but yeah.
Hey, come on, it was fun.
How about those Brooklyn Dodgers?
There's only one team in Chicago. It's in the South Side. The other one's just a tourist attraction.
All right, now Dr. Manzer, I wish we could skip this, and I wasn't even going to talk about this. And then Mo saw the trailer, and I think he understood why. Well, no, I made him go watch it, and I'm sure he was at the back of his head going, why are we talking about the fucking Cat in the Hat? And then after he comes back, I think he got the idea of why we're talking about this trailer. Because this thing is...
That's terrible.
Dr. Seuss is rolling around in his grave. Poor Theodore. Look, Theodore Geisel was never somebody who really wanted to capitalize on his characters. Like, he was even resistant to do the Grinch Stole Christmas special, right? Like, he didn't even want to do that. But it took convincing from Chuck Jones and a bunch of other people to get him to do it. And to me, these movies and cartoons that they've been doing since he's been gone, I don't think he'd be okay with. I definitely don't think he'd be okay with all these fart jokes in a Cat in the Hat movie. The Mike Myers movie was bad enough, but anyway, Culture, let's start with you since you only got limited time, and then we'll move along here. What did you think of the Cat in the Hat?
This is nightmare fuel purely and simply, and it's not something I'm interested in. I don't like the characterization they're going with. I don't like the vocal performance. I mean, what else do you want me to say? This thing is.
I do like Bill Hader, which is sad because
yeah,
I can't believe he'd do this.
Yeah, and when going through it, I was just like, this is pure garbage. If somebody actually enjoys this movie, I will be surprised. I can't wait to see the reviews for it, but I don't even know anybody's going to go see it. That's Tom. Can you imagine anybody finding this animation and this style?
No, I'm not even talking
attractive?
about the atrociousness of the animation, but it's like wall to wall fart jokes.
That's terrible. And it lacks the poetry of the moment, which is what Cat in the Hat and anything else that Seuss did they were capital at. I mean, and that goes down to even the other thing that nobody wanted to, nobody, at least of all him, would have wanted to have happened. And even now that it has, it's great, is the Cat in the Hat and the Seuss land area over at Universal in Florida. That to me is, poetry in motion. It's the actual visual representation of what Seuss land should look like. And this doesn't even get anywhere close. So, set aside the animation, the vocal performance, the terrible dialogue and everything else. And sure, let's have a terrible stylized Cal Arts version of Cat in the Hat with, it
looks like a Wii game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there you go. Perfect. Yeah, this is a Wii game, and it's not a good one. This is that Wii game that sits on the shelf in the back of the GameStop that keeps getting discounted.
Beside Parappa the Rapper, whatever the hell that thing was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, this has like 7 or 8 orange tags stuck on top of each other, discounting it further and further.
No,
I don't know,
Nick.
Yeah, I was going to ask Mo. Mo, what do you think of this? Because obviously you're the.
Okay, so jeez. So I don't know if anybody's seen. I know this is like a deep cut. Nobody might know what this is, but there's like they did a CGI version of Bible Man, and it was made on nothing. And this is what it looks like. It's made with the same software. It looks like 30-year-old straight to video CGI animation.
Yes.
Like legitimately, it looks awful. And yeah, the fart jokes are stupid. And if you told me it was Bill Hader, I'd have to take your word for it because they've just completely underutilized his talents, at least in the trailer. And they have the black woman macing the Cat in the Hat. I'm like, done. I'm so done. Like, really? Okay, that's what we're doing. Yeah, there's just nothing redeemable about this trailer. The animation's awful. The delivering of the lines are awful. It's literally cat vomit. That's what it is. No redeeming qualities.
Wow.
Does that sum it up?
Well, it brought it up along with the hairball. It was terrible.
They kind of make that kind of a noise.
This is something that I'd want to see, like 2D animation, preferably hand drawn. Something that really captures the essence of what the books were. And I've always liked the book, but I never liked the Mike Myers thing, and this falls into a similar category for me. Mike Myers, I know some people like that, and I think maybe it made money, but I thought that looked very cringe. The Mike Myers one.
Oh, I hate that movie. I thought that every single copy should be burned, every print should be burned, every digital copy should be erased.
Yes.
In fact, break the hard drives just to make sure.
Agree.
like I can't stand that fucking movie.
I like Mike Myers during that era, but man, this
I do.
Cat in the Hat movie was a stinker, and this cartoon looks bad, kind of along the same lines, but just animated.
Yeah, it's just ugly. I mean, it's just monstrous. So,
yeah, I just don't understand the need for this. I mean, maybe because that last Grinch movie did okay, the animated one, but I never finished it. So, yeah. Well, with that, let's move on to the main topic of the day because I want to do this while you're still here, Culture, because I'm sure you've been all over this.
Oh. Yeah.
Elio, it's a catastrophic America Ferrera's exit, director change, and erasure of queer themes. So here we go. We got a common thread through a lot of Disney films lately, and it's that they all have to have erased some sort of queer themes in their storyline. And things got so bad behind the scenes of this that the original creator didn't even know what the hell they were making anymore, I guess was their quote in so many words. Yeah, so they were deeply saddened and aggrieved by the changes that were made, says former Pixar assistant editor Sarah Legatic, who provided feedback during Elio production as a member of the company's internal LGBTQ group. So they got an LGBTQ group there called Pix Pride.
Yeah, an internal group that has been obviously, in various of these projects, including the one where they removed the identifying child, as something else. They removed that child from the storyline completely for Win or Lose, if you remember that.
And it sounds like a lot of them did the same thing, like with Pixar here, or with Inside Out here, where they stepped down after they realized all this stuff was going to be removed.
Yeah, Inside Out 2. Yeah, and look, I mean, Inside Out 2 was saved by Pete Docter and his, kind of supervision. Otherwise, that was entirely doomed. And, if he weren't there to write whatever they were doing as far as this little club within Disney, which still blows my mind that they allow for these kinds of little cliques inside the animation studios or even any of the studios, including Marvel. But they do, and this is a result of it. You get a lot of forced representation, which they have to ultimately go back and pull out in order for it to be tolerable for a familial audience, which is also strange because you would think Disney would know what a family audience is willing to consume, but I guess not.
So the Hollywood Reporter goes on to say the challenges to Elio were clear to one former Pixar artist who worked on the film and asked to remain anonymous. It was pretty clear throughout the production that the first version of the film that the studio leaders were constantly sanding down these moments in the film that alluded to Elio's sexuality of being queer. Okay. So then you jump to, where is it here? Because they say that, suddenly they remove that key piece, which is all about identity, and Elio just becomes about totally nothing. Yeah, that's the line I was looking for. So because you took the gay out, now the movie's about nothing.
That just shows that the movie didn't have a strong foundation to begin with, and it was just kind of like identity politics. But what a lot of these activists are going to do if Disney doesn't start firing them is they're just going to find other passive-aggressive ways to be annoying. I think that maybe the days of them doing the full-on agenda peddling the way they were doing it, the woke agenda peddling, maybe that's a little more difficult in the current climate. They're going to find other ways around it. They're just going to do it in a way that's annoying, but concealed a bit, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense. No, I'm not surprised that this happened. I mean, this movie, if it came out under an ideal time and not filled with identity politics, even though it sounds like it was reduced, the concept of a kid and dealing with aliens in space, it's not a bad concept. I mean, a lot of boys like dreaming of space and aliens, so the basic idea is a fun idea, but they put out at a time where lots of goodwill has been shredded from Disney and Pixar, and this is the result that they get, is this original movie flopping hard. And I'm not surprised this is the outcome. It's clear that the goodwill has not just, tarnished just from people who, pay attention to Disney, but it seems like to normies as well. And, well, you reap what you sow for doing all this. I mean, from identity politics to canning Lasseter and doing everything else you've done with all the other companies that you own. Now you got to pay for the result. But the thing is, how much more can they continue to keep bleeding on all this stuff? Because now even Pixar, was outside of Inside Out 2, they're starting to feel the hits too. How much more can Disney actually take before they're like, okay, we need to reverse course on all this stuff? Because they're acting like they're reversing course, but they're not really reversing course. They're trying to be the toe the line, have it both ways. Maybe we could carry both sides. It's not going to work. You got to root out this fictional modern audience and go for the actual audience that has always just been called the general public and appeal to them, because this is not going to work forever doing this. Something needs to give at some point.
Well, and this is a clear, like you would think this would be the one that they would learn their lesson on, but no, there's people out there, and I'm pretty sure it's being pushed by people inside Pixar that, you know, you bitch and you gripe that you don't get original material, then Elio comes out and you don't go to see it. It's like, no, it's not our job to go see your shitty fucking movie. Your job is to make us want to go see your shitty fucking movie.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's the problem you have first and foremost. And then when you're Disney, a company that has done nothing but insert politics like this into their products for the last 5 to 10 years, they don't trust you anymore. Sure, you'll get a Pixar, I keep calling it Pixar. You keep getting a Inside Out 2, right? Because that's the last thing that they've done in like God knows how long that actually felt remotely Pixar.
It was a fluke. Just like
no,
it was a fluke.
No, it was a remove the message.
No,
thing.
but I'm saying it didn't matter. The message was like, I don't think the audience was aware of that aspect of it. They just went to see it because they knew, oh, we know the first one. At least we know they shouldn't be able to do that with this one, which they were trying to, but you're right. The reason it was successful in the end and didn't get like bombarded with bad word of mouth is because they did take out the lesbian subplot. That's why.
Yep.
They're only capable of making money on those ones that they haven't ruined or destroyed yet.
Poisoned, yeah.
Yeah, haven't put like wells that haven't been poisoned yet.
Yeah.
And usually when they introduce something new, it's just poison right out the gate.
And I think they're banking way too much on Toy Story 5. Because I don't think that they realize that a lot of the people didn't care for Toy Story 4.
No, that's a point of conversation. I think that they haven't paid attention to. 4 kind of ruined the franchise, and it made a joke out of Woody, which everybody hates. I mean, that was dumb, terrible.
Even Quentin Tarantino said that the first Toy Story trilogy is a perfect fucking trilogy, and you know he didn't go see it on his own accord. It's because he's got kids now, and he's sitting there one day going, "God damn. This is a perfect fucking trilogy." Like, he's sitting there crying with his kid when he thinks Woody is going to die, you know, like everybody else was in part 3. Like, that shit had everybody on the edge of their seats. It's like, how can you beat that finale? Like, I already have enough problems with him giving the toys away to begin with, but I think that's the right message that the movie should be sending. Because it's like, oh, you know, in reality, with those toys, most of us from that generation, we keep them and we put them on a shelf. Right, like, and we admire them, or we go out and we re-seek what we had when we were children, right? Like, that's kind of what our generation does.
I mean, we go hunting down, the missing Tauntaun that probably your brother stole and has somewhere in his house,
or the Rancor or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Well, actually, if you want to see the Rancor, the best version of one ever is going to be in Jurassic World Afterbirth, coming up here this weekend.
Ricky Bearwick dinosaur?
It's only, I'm going to tell you right now, that's the only moment worth it in the entire film. Hey, that's a Rancor. Anyway.
Anyhow, they try to also sell that this movie was solid A+ on the Cinema Score for viewers under 25. I'm curious what it was overall, though.
Do you know why they're very specific?
Why?
Because it wasn't very good anywhere else.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. Anyway, when you start to see companies like, what do you call it? Scraping the data and just giving you specific things like, this is the best movie for an under 35 that went to go see it in July after 4:00 in the afternoon and having dinner and a beer in the theater. You see what I'm saying?
What are you saying, Nick?
No, and I was just adding to Coach's point. That's all I was doing is adding, because he was laying all the details. Yeah, the way they superficially push things is insane. There was a time where 8 records now meant something. Now, to some extent, they don't as much because of the way they break them down so much. It's way too overly broken down. It wasn't just top 10 of all things for a year. It's one thing to have a year, maybe even a month, but when you do the third Wednesday at 4 p.m. on July, it's just like, oh my God, this is way too exhausting to keep up with. Just stop. Now everything needs to make it look like an accomplishment. It's insane. And people fall for it too. That's the sad part about it. I see people sometimes regurgitate those type of talking points. Oh yeah, but look, it did well on this third Wednesday of February. I'm like, do you realize how that sounds? And like actually like think about it. But that's the thing people actually think about when they hear something that seems to come from like quotation marks, reputable source. They just take it as gospel, even though it's really just someone who's just trying to spin a success out of something that isn't. But people don't think of it. They just see it as long as their reputable source says so, then it must be so. It's just, confirmation bias to a much, much, much grander level.
Can I just say this, that Grace Randolph right now, as a quote unquote reputable source, at least is telling.
What kind of dumb shit did Grace say this week? You just wanted to hear that.
I did actually, but she actually rated the film Jurassic World coming into you this July 4th weekend, which is actually 6 days long, starting tomorrow. And
it's 6, not 5. That's right.
Yeah. And it will be. She said in her review that it is dog duty. Not exactly those words, but yeah, nobody's a big fan of this thing. I'm. Do you realize how many fifis I hurt for the snowflakes? I mean, they came after me on my video. I was like, what's happening now? I saw this movie. You did not. So yeah, it was very weird. So anyway, sorry. Just crazy.
Yeah. Well, the next up story we got a couple more super chats here I'm going to grab, and then we're going to get to that. Nelson Charitas says Elio is more proof that Disney cannot help themselves. Well, is it that, or that they
don't know what the fuck they're doing?
That's what I wonder. But yes, I think you're right. It's more so they can't help themselves with the politics. Lester Skeptic, Tank Obsessions. That's a new version of your name, Lester. Says, wake me up when writers finally write stakes into whatever fill in the blank identity aspect. Newsflash, when they do, we see such are no different than us. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I see what you're saying there. Well, this weekend we're halfway through the year and pretty much halfway through the summer, but there's the biggest movies have yet to come out, and Jurassic Park might do okay globally, but in the US I've seen some different ones. The low end, they're saying about 100 million. So what do you think, Culture, since this is your kind of domain mainly? Do you really think that Jurassic Park has a chance to hit 130 million over the 5 to 6 day?
Over 6 days? Sure. Over a regular weekend? Hell no. And here's the other thing. There have already been some screenings of this film for money. Not big money, but for money, even before we get to tomorrow. So, if you look at Wednesday as if it were a Thursday, you've got, money coming in already then. Plus you have, that will be added to what's going to come out in the form of quote unquote previews, which are tomorrow. If this thing comes in at 6 million in previews, then it gets a solid Thursday with maybe another 4 to 5 million, and you're at 11. And then you hit Friday, which is the holiday, which can be hit or miss. I mean, people may want to watch the fireworks and not the dinosaurs. So, that might be another 8 million. So, I mean, you're looking at 19 million before you get to Saturday, Sunday. So it's just, the question is going to be, are people going to really go to the movies Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in droves? And if that's the case, I mean, if this has that broad of an appeal, which I don't see how, it didn't look like the trailers inspired much interest. Yeah, you could get to 115 million. Are you gonna? No. I mean, I think this thing might get to 100 million by the end of the weekend, domestic.
I mean, I've made it pretty clear why I don't think it's going to do as well as the other films, but I think one other thing that might be hurting it is it might be too soon for another one, because it feels like we just got the last one.
It does feel like we just got if you had told me it was already 2 years since Dominion, I would have thought it had been 1 year, not 2. And there was a time where these things were, 93 was Jurassic Park. The Lost World was 97. That's 4 years.
Yeah, they had a nice 4 or 5 year gap between most of them.
Jurassic Park 3 was 4 or 5 years because 01 or 02. So there was some good gap in between all three, and yet here we are. World was 2015, Fallen Kingdom was what, 2018, 2019? So even then, that still had a decent 3 or 4 year gap. And then now here we are with the quickest gap, and it's the transition too to a new trilogy on top of it. It is way too soon, Tom. I feel like it's like, and people thought, man, we transitioned out of Spider-Man 3, The Amazing Spider-Man soon at 5 years, and I thought that was fast at the time too. Like, don't get me wrong, 5 years, and now here we are at 2 years. What's next? We're in like transition of like reboots and all that at 1 year next. So this is nuts.
Well, fortunately for Jurassic World, it has 2 weeks to breathe before Superman drops.
More like a week to like 9 or 10 days if you want to get technical.
A little over a week, but yeah.
These movies tend to at least make some money just because of the dinosaurs, whatever it is. It's dumb and stupid, and some people are going to go watch it. It costs less than Dominion from what I recall reading to make. So, in my opinion, worldwide, it at least breaks even. Maybe later in streaming, maybe as another chapter in the series, it's worth it to somebody. I don't think it's going to be crossing the billion like those other installments. I think that this one, $500 million, is in the cards for a worldwide box office. Even though it's probably not going to be anybody's favorite movie, just the fact that there's some dinosaurs and some families and kids like seeing that, I think that it's going to break even at least.
I think it'll make at least 700 or 800, if not maybe a little more than that. But I agree with you, Price. I think it's going to really struggle to hit that billion.
I'm with you guys. I think it's 700 to 780 million tops. I looked at what these can do. It only has 2 weeks before it's going to get trounced by Superman. Actually, technically, not even that. It has it's Superman comes out on the 11th. So yeah. So I'm just saying this is going to get just stepped on 2 weeks later. And its biggest earnings are going to come out of the bigger screens. It's going to come out of IMAX. So,
and international. I think that somehow international, the idea of dinosaurs just walking around and ruining things, somehow people like that stuff. And yeah, I said that the minimum for me is 500, but I don't disagree. It could have reached 700. I would say like 500 to 700 million range. That's what it seems like this movie would be.
The problem is the movie has to be really good to hit that $1 billion. I know we keep talking about Superman and Fantastic Four more so, but I feel like me and maybe Culture and a select few others are the only ones that have really paid attention to the fact that Jurassic World 1 opened up to like almost $2 billion. And then each one subsequently went down like a burning ring of fire.
Right.
And that's been the other issue, right? And then of course something I think somebody in our sphere brought up was the fact that really there's only 2 films in any of these that actually scored, a decent score in Rotten Tomatoes. Everything else has been just splats. And I'm not surprised because I wasn't really over the moon. I mean, Tom, outside of the first 2 movies and maybe a tolerable okay for the third movie, Jurassic Park, what was it? Something.
Jurassic Park 3. It's just called Jurassic Park 3.
Yeah.
Which I watched it again this last weekend, and it's the problem with that movie is that it feels like it's very rushed and it feels like it's very TV movie-esque or straight to video-esque.
Yeah.
It has that kind of element to it, even though it is a very expensive movie and it has a very competent director behind it. I think it had a very incompetent producer in Kathleen Kennedy.
And a bad story. Yeah, and that's the other
thing.
Not
very good story, yeah. But it actually, in hindsight, you look back, it's one of the ones that has a better story than the rest because it actually is a feasible story compared to the rest.
True, but this one, and I'll just tell you this relaunch of this Afterbirth or whatever they're calling it, this thing, it has like less feasibility than any of the others, and it's incongruent with reality. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Price.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say that for me, Jurassic Park and maybe the first Jurassic World are the movies that I like the most. 2 and 3 for me from the park are very forgettable. I saw them years ago, never really revisited them. 2 and 3 from this newer trilogy are also pretty forgettable. And I think the only reason World I don't hate it is because it's sort of a remake of Jurassic Park.
That's my biggest issue with it too. Besides, I feel like I got lied to by the trailers.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the problems is that how many times can you remake these things and continue to make these movies with these dinosaurs? There are certain franchises that you believe that these creatures are coming back all the time, but in this one, every time that they find reasons for why they're coming back, it's really far-fetched.
Well, like I said, if you really like dinosaurs, or if you just want to see a Rancor, you know. This is the only reason to see this, because otherwise there's at least 5 different points in time where you can find a decent nap, and when the music gets loud, you just wake up for that. So anyway, Mo, you haven't said anything.
Mo, I was gonna say, I don't know if you have anything to say.
I mean, not much to add. I loved Jurassic Park. Lost World, maybe it was a snoozed fest to me, and didn't even bother seeing the rest. I hate to say that, but yeah, no, one was will forever be one of my favorite movies ever. Watching it in the theater, it was super awesome. But yeah, I haven't. All I got to say is I can add this. I have 2 nephews and I have a son. They're all like close to like around 10 to 12 years old. They cannot wait to go see this movie. So I think the kids are going to drive some money out of this movie because
they are. But I'm going to tell you that by the end of the weekend, word of mouth on this is going to be terrible. So
I don't think that's going to matter with the kids, though, and I think that's what Mo is saying.
No,
that's
I get
what
it.
matters.
Yeah.
I mean, mainly if the kids are into this, because that's what I was going to say is the adults and stuff, they have checked out. But if the kids are still into this, then that it has a chance.
Tom, you're a toy guy, so I'm just going to.
Whoop! You cut out.
Yeah, I tapped my interface. Anyway, you know this that toy sales are really important for something like this, and there is a cute little take home dinosaur that you can have in your home and in your backpack, just like the superfluous little girl that's in this movie.
I was just going to say, you know how that can backfire real quick? Is that it can turn off the boy audience super fast.
Well, then they're not going to enjoy Girl Boss.
Plushies have been there. They've had them throughout the World trilogy as well with Chris Pratt.
See,
that's not a new thing. I've
Blue,
seen
no, but Blue is cool for boys, right? Blue is a fantasy come true. What boy wouldn't want a velociraptor that they can control like a dog?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
But what boy gives a shit about a little baby triceratops?
I'm not.
That's gonna be revolting to them. They're gonna be like, "Fuck that! That's for my baby sister."
And honestly, it looks like Play-Doh, but that's beside the point.
I could be fucking wrong. It could turn out to be like Baby Yoda, but at the same time,
no.
Who goes goo goo gaga mostly over Baby Yoda? It ain't little boys.
Yeah, and look, beginning to end, this is a checkbox mafia movie that was the most diverse cast possible, driven by just nothing else. It was just, let's make this the most ethnically diverse and sexually balanced cast we've ever had in a Jurassic, World movie. That's what this is. And
2 hours and 14 minutes.
I'm not even really that aware of the rest of the cast, even though I did find out a few more people that are in it. And I'm just thinking, like, this looks like the Captain Planet cast of Jurassic films.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Okay. I gotta correct myself. I said Dominion was 2 years ago, even though it feels like it was 1 year ago. It actually was 3 years ago. Okay. I gotta correct myself. It just does
not feel like that long ago.
Okay. If anyone corrected me in the chat and I miss it, I apologize. I get shit wrong.
It's still 3 years for one of these.
You know why it seems like it was just yesterday? Because it was so dumb, Dominion, that you feel like you just saw it yesterday.
Could be that. Yeah, that could definitely be.
I need to rewatch it because I remember seeing it in the theater and I don't think I hated it that much, but it was so much better than the last one. See, that's the thing is that fifth one, the one in the mansion where they blew up, where the island, where I think it's from the second film is the one that blows up. See, because that's the other funny part is there's like 5 islands in this whole thing, right? And we've only been to 2 until now. This is going to be the first time we're going to be to a 3rd island, I guess. So, like, I mean, I guess that there is a big fan base for this, though. Don't get me wrong, because every time I talk about this shit, I get a lot of flack for it. In fact, won't be surprised if there's a few super chats to that effect. But like even 6 She's going to see it tomorrow. But this is a thing I've noticed in recent years. Like I'm curious, culture, what the demographics are going to be on this, because I know more women that are into Jurassic movies than men are.
Yeah,
actually.
well, thank you, Bryce Dallas Howard. But look, this is gonna well, then maybe they'll love it, because basically this is the Barbie movie.
That might be the point I was getting at. Yeah,
of Jurassic World. It's gonna be terrible, and there's no Greta Gerwig to create a character like. In fact, they expositioned up so frequently in this that the only reason you know anything about these characters at all is because they will sit around tables and talk about their feelings multiple times in different ways. And you end up not caring. There's nobody in here that you connect with. None of these characters are engaging. There's no enthralling story. And ultimately, it's so predictable. You will know like 2 to 3 minutes before the next character gets killed, because it's telegraphed so poorly. It's just I'm watching this, and I'm surrounded by people who are there for the same reason, to get the story and to do a review or whatever. And everybody's just like laughing at not the right points, because it's just so ridiculous. So the guy next to me, I swear he kept taking like photos like crazy so he'd have stills for his review or whatever.
Wow.
And I don't even care, but it was like, he's chuckling. He and I are exchanging conversation often during this movie, and we weren't the only ones, and that's not a good thing. I checked my watch, I don't know, 4 or 5 times. That's not good for a movie either. And it is boring. A movie about dinosaurs is boring, and you don't get to see enough of the dinosaurs. I could go on why this thing's going to tank.
I just feel like if they're going to do this series, they need to evolve, right? And right here on screen is my pitch. Jurassic World War. We gave them guns, we taught them, and now they've turned against us. How hard is that to do?
I got to tell you, Scribelight's been nailing these posters lately, so that's that works for me. But anyway, I do have to leave. Yeah. I do have to step out. But I was grateful to be able to join you today, and I just dropped an edit that I'm trying to get finished. So you guys keep it up, and I'll be listening. So thanks, and hey everybody, it's been a minute. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye. Take care, buddy. All right, let's see what you guys are talking about out there. We got Joe Pat in the house, who sends a $9.99. Says, you think the Cat in the Hat is our punishment for ignoring how Warner Brothers has been treating the Looney Tunes? I don't know what you mean by us ignoring how Warner Brothers has been treating the Looney Tunes, because I know they still have plans for them. This is just where I was trying to tell people they had a new animation director come in. So usually when that shit happens, everything that was out before or that was in the pipeline usually gets canceled, right? So that's why a lot of that stuff happened. But I think our punishment for just I don't know what we did to deserve this shit, actually, Joe Pat. I really don't. I really wish I knew the answer to that, because then maybe we could stop it. But I just don't think that's going to happen. And then we got Kalekioki, who says, well, when this new JP film is created by Lucasfilm, what did you expect? So, Culture, who do you think? Oh, shit, I forgot to get this to.
Oh, no.
See, and I'm not sure how much, I didn't see how much Lucasfilm was involved with it, but...
weren't they involved with the one before as well?
Not that I know of. See, the last 3, my understanding or memory is that Kathleen Kennedy was only a producer name only, because if she was even listed, because she was so busy with Lucasfilm that, yeah, maybe for ILM's side of it, because last I knew, Frank Marshall was the one kind of handling the Jurassic Park franchise, but if she's more heavily hands-on, that would explain the switch and the shift. And she would, because of course she couldn't dare let her husband have the winning hand, right? I mean, who would want that, right? She got jealous. She got super jealous. I was doing good with JP, and I was doing good with Twisters, and she was fucking up Star Wars, and now I'm in the outhouse again.
Nut house.
Nutless house is more like it.
Wow.
So if you go see the new Jurassic Park movie, I don't give a shit.
I like that. I like that.
Congo.
Congo. God, they're gonna make a Congo movie.
We haven't seen
soon.
Frank Marshall in a while. He just made a surprise appearance. There you go. So who do we think's going to win this summer? I think Superman's going to win.
You think so?
Yeah.
I like how no one, and I mean no one, and then no one ever has said, "Oh yeah, First Steps is going to be the one." Even the few people who are, let's just say, moderately like hopeful of the trailer with Pass Hole in it. The last remaining shills and even people who I guess you could say are genuinely curious, no one has put Fantastic Four in first place. I would like to be in a world where I would be doing that, but the interest in this movie is dead.
I think Jurassic World makes more than Fantastic Four, and I think that maybe Superman has a shot of making just a little more than Jurassic, but barely. Maybe along the lines of same as Jurassic, whereas Fantastic Four, in my opinion, will be the loser out of the three.
Oh, huge.
And even the winners will be like in the 700 range.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I think that Fantastic Four maybe between 400 to 500 at best.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think you're right, Price. I think that's about in line with what I would say too. Then Nelson Sharita says summer blockbusters. 1, he thinks Jurassic Park. 2, Superman, and 17 will be Fantastic Four. I see what you did there, Nelson. You never know. And then Lost for Words says Minecraft was a phenomenon. Still hasn't hit 1 billion. Jurassic World Afterbirth won't. Superman won't. Fantastic Four won't. Studios need to tighten their belts. Honestly, you could be right, Lost for Words. I just think Superman is the only one that has the potential this summer to hit 1 billion. So
I think it needs to be concerned on making its budget back. Now, if that budget amounts to being at 1 billion, well, then that's a need, not just a want. But it needs to, at the very minimum, break even. So whatever that budget is, it needs to do that, and hopefully a little more. Whatever
the problem is,
a little more.
Yeah, you're right, Nick. Because the problem here is that back in the day they could make, like, I mean, it's not the same amount of money, but let's say like the equivalent now would be like a movie used to be able to make $500 million, and it would be fine because it would make all the rest of its money on video and other areas. Now they don't have that, so the break even point is almost like within shooting distance of $1 billion, just so they know that they can kind of make it up on the back end a little bit. Because all they really have anymore is video on demand. They don't really have anything else that brings any more extra income, unless you're Sony or whatever and sell your movies to Netflix still. Because otherwise, they're not making the kind of money they used to.
I think that Superman could have been $1 billion movie. The only problem is that I think that the marketing for this movie has been so poor. Every clip that they release has, in my eyes, been counterproductive. It's like, I guess, I get less excited with every piece of marketing, with every piece of video, with every interview. Every single thing that happens, I'm getting less excited about the movie. Now, I'm obviously still going to go see it, but I'm thinking to myself, other people, maybe they don't know why, maybe normies don't know why this doesn't excite them, but maybe it just won't excite them, and they won't go.
Yeah. Dr. Manzer says, I'm sorry, but I like JP3 more than Lost World. I know a lot of people who do, but there's no accounting for taste. No, I'm just kidding, Dr. Manzer. No, I can understand why some people could. Nelson Sharita says, so when is Thundercats live action remake? I know there was one and it got stuck in development hell or whatever it was. If He-Man actually is somewhat successful, I wouldn't be surprised if Thundercats aren't far behind.
No.
It's
Leave it alone.
almost inevitable.
Leave it alone.
But there's, speaking of Superman, one other little bit of news here. James Gunn has kind of hinted at, or at least alluded to, that we might have know who our Wonder Woman is. He followed Adria Arona, whoever that is, on Instagram. And when
she was in Andor. Everybody thought that she was like a candidate. You know what? I don't love her. She's all right. I don't hate her either. She's all right. But I hate it when they just, Hollywood chooses some actress and they want to put her in everything. I don't know. I'm not that excited about her. I don't think that she's that great.
No, he didn't say for sure, but he didn't say no, and I think it's kind of hinting that
if he followed it, the rumors have been that it's her, and if he followed her, it's probably her. Paulie is probably going to be super excited. He's probably creaming himself as we speak.
Yeah. Well, there you go, kids. That might be our Wonder Woman. She looks all right, I guess. I haven't really seen her do much. I've only seen like 3 episodes of Andor, so I can't speak to it otherwise.
I think she's overrated. She's all right, but I don't think she's spectacular.
She pulled Jonathan Majors' pie. So what is this about? She pulled... What do you mean she pulled? Like pulled the interview itself and didn't show it? Or...
Probably.
Sorry, I want to know what this is about, because this is a bitch that tried to have fucking Bill Murray canceled, and she's doing a fucking interview with Jonathan Majors. What a fucking hypocrite. If I couldn't hate this bitch any more than I already do, and I couldn't pick her out of a goddamn lineup if I tried.
It reminds me of, what's his face? Of Childish Gambino, Donald Glover, whatever he calls himself. That he basically is the reason that Chevy Chase got fired, and he tried to cancel him and all this stuff. Then he's hanging out all day with Kanye and doing collaborations with him and stuff. And it's like, dude, if you're gonna go around and defend Kanye, I think that Chevy Chase is really small potatoes. Do you get what I'm trying to say? There's such hypocrisy sometimes in these things, and I think that this Keke Palmer with Jonathan Majors is similar hypocrisy. Not that I even know for sure.
She pulled the interview. They didn't release it, was what it was.
Yeah, she pulled it probably because people told her what you just said. But generally speaking, she would have probably been down to do the interview. And that just shows the double standard that some
she
people...
did the interview. They just didn't release it. It still might get released at some point is what it says here. So
some people from a certain... how do I put this? It seems kind of hypocritical that certain people from a certain community are very happy to overlook the faults of other people within that same community, but are more than happy to try to cancel people outside of that community, if you know what I'm saying.
I follow you.
Yeah.
I mean, have a uniform policy. Either you're stuck up and you want everybody canceled or not, but to kind of pick and choose. And that's the same way I felt about Childish Gambino or Donald Glover or whatever you want to call him. Also, in my opinion, somewhat overrated. I mean, he was fine on Community, but I don't love him as much as everybody loves him, and I thought that was very poor character. That every time that they interview him for years, he always mentions this Chevy Chase thing. That Chevy Chase said something that deeply offended him on a set, and then it was istophobic. And meanwhile, the guy is buddy with Kanye. There's just no excuse for that. Chevy Chase, in my opinion, is a jerk to everybody, and he's difficult to work with. But I don't think that he specifically targeted Glover in the way that Glover described, and Glover was very happy to do the whole victimhood thing as long as Chevy Chase is sort of a iconic older white comedian guy, obviously within his own community, not willing to do it. Just a similar situation. That I don't know why now I always get annoyed when I think of this, and now when I saw this thing, you thought of Bill Murray, but I also thought about Chevy Chase.
There you go. All right. Well, that is pretty much all I had, unless you guys had anything else.
I got nothing else.
Me neither.
We're all gonna have a price voice soon.
Yeah, and Chubby is known to be a d-bag, but that doesn't.
He is. He probably
giving him a comeback career, and it didn't work because he's so leaned in on his douchitarianism.
I am 100%. If Glover wanted to sit there and say, "Hey, you know what? I worked with Chevy Chase. He's a real big asshole," I would have just chuckled and played it off. But that's not what he said. In every interview, he makes a point of explaining that not that he's a douchebag, but that he's an istophobe. Okay, this is what bothers me. That I think that Chevy Chase generally is just a jerk to everybody. Yet that guy applied it in a way that was quote unquote istophobic. And then he keeps talking about that in every interview, yet no problem being buddy with Kanye.
Yeah, I see exactly what you're saying. And here it's a similar situation with I see her trying to cash in on Jonathan Majors, or having no issues with Jonathan Majors, even though she half-ass compares him to a serial killer in her comments, which is hilarious. But anyhow, yeah. With that, I think we're going to wrap it up. We do have a show coming up here in just over an hour on Nick's channel. If you want to join us there, I will be joining Nick on the Airheads discussion over on the Rumble side of things. Isn't that right, Nick? Since we're doing the Rumble stream.
Yeah, it is our Rumble exclusive Toxic Tuesday. We'll be talking Airheads tonight, which should be fun. I feel like, it kind of works out in a weird way that it's just going to be me, you, and 70s talk about it, because we're kind of the most musically oriented of the bunch. So in a way, this kind of is like, okay, this is the best possible outcome, if anything. So yeah, I have a very strange attachment to this movie, even though everything about it is absolutely batshit nuts. But I can't wait to talk about it because my dad's in it. Guys, if you want to see my dad in a movie,
Lemmy's in
this is the movie that you want to be watching Toxic Tuesday about.
I played D&D too.
And there was a good Motorhead song too in that movie too, from the Bastards album. So yeah, I'm excited to talk about Airheads. So it should be fun. Come hang out. And even a Wild Allen cover of Grandma's Boys in it too has a nice little cameo.
Yes,
I'll point it out. Yeah,
that's true. He's one of the Popo.
That's right.
We also have Nick's got a show later on tonight about 10:45 Central Time. The Night Owl.
It's 11:45 and it's Price, but yes, you were close enough.
I don't even know what the hell I was talking about. What the hell did I say?
Who's who anymore?
Who did I say?
You said 10:45. It's 10:45 maybe your time. It's 11:45.
No, but who did I
Eastern.
say? Did I not say?
You
Price?
said Nick has the Night Owl 10:45.
Yeah. Okay, so that's because I was just talking to Nick. It could have been.
But
worse.
you were close. You were close. It was
I
Price.
could have said somebody who wasn't even fucking here.
Yeah, exactly. It's Price, 11:45 p.m. and it's the Night Owl. And Nick, if you want to take your people from Rumble and send them over to the Night Owl, you're very
Rumble
welcome
too,
to do that. If I think that's possible.
I don't know how Rumble works, but yeah.
I can give it a shot, Price. I can't promise all of them will transition, but we can try.
All right. And then let's see. What do you got coming up, Mo?
Well, I'm Culture Casino, and I'm going live at midnight Mountain Time. No,
every hour on the hour.
But no, actually, in about a half hour, I'm gonna be playing Mass Effect. It's something I never played.
There you go.
Ever. Just couldn't afford. You had to pick and choose your games when you're broke and in your mid-20s. You're like, all right. So, but this is the first time playing it, and I'm really enjoying it. And I keep saying it mainly because of Keith David, the best voice actor of all time and one of the most underrated actors of all time. But I'm enjoying the video game, and probably going to stream it for about an hour and a half. It's just a nice chill experience. So you can join me on Mo's Game Room on YouTube, where I play video games. So follow me there if you're so inclined. But Airheads is a great movie. I'm kind of jealous.
You should come talk with us.
I won't stop you. You're welcome to slide in.
I might just do so. I think I'll just do an hour on and we'll see what happens. So
there you go.
I may surprise.
Mo may come in and make a cameo, kind of like Beavis and Butthead do in Airheads.
Oh, best cameo.
You guys suck.
The Lone Ranger, plural.
No.
So yes. All right. Check that out and watch Mo play some games. Otherwise, I will see you folks on Rumble when we do the Airheads thing. Check out Price's channel. Check out Nick's YouTube channel as well. And don't forget Culture Casino, because he'd cry and piss and moan if I didn't plug him again one more time. Just like a little bitch.
Sounded pretty gay.
It was very, very, very gay. So anyhow, with that, take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you very, very soon. Good night.
Cute kitty.